Hey everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre, Just No, where we'll take a look at different stories that have people that are just no, which basically means that these are people you don't want to have in your life. Now, before we begin, I'd like to invite you guys to go to the Lost Genre subreddit, I'll leave a link in the description, and join the community. I created that subreddit for you guys, for you to share your stories that you'd like for me to feature in any of my videos. Alright, well now let's get started with the first post. This one is from user Cheap Mexican. So, I am in the army and I was married. I was approaching my first deployment to Iraq. It was very stressful and it had my wife wanting me to find a way to stay and not deploy. Obvious things any wife would try to talk about. Anyways, we have no kids but we both want them. So we talk about getting out of debt while I'm gone. She talks to her best friend back home in another state where we are both from. Her friend agrees to let her move in and charge a modest $300 in rent so that we can get out of debt and start a family when I come back. A plan I was actually very pleased with. I deploy and she is there crying her eyes out saying she will miss me and loves me and we will start a family when we get back. Fast forward 2 months, she starts acting distant. Not wanting to talk much on our scheduled calls or texts back 1 or 2 word answers. We've been together 6 years, she is never at a loss for words. Anyway, one day she says, I need some space. She asked someone who is 10,000 miles away for space. I say why and she says she just needs space. She wants to find herself. So I remember back when we lived at home, she had a guy who was always being borderline inappropriate. I'm not a very jealous person and I trust her, so I start seeing said guy in basically all her pictures she posts with a group. Every time he's in the picture, everyone else changes but never him. So for the first time I'm very jealous and uneasy about everything. So I clone her phone. I use T-Mobile's digit service to clone the phone. Google it, I don't feel like typing it. And I receive every text she receives as well as every text she sends. I'll never forget the first text I saw after cloning her phone. Hey babe, I'll see you after work. Want me to save you any of my leftovers? From her to him. It destroyed me. I lost 35 pounds in a week. I didn't eat or sleep. I stared at the phone watching every conversation, watching them talk about trying to have a baby. It was literally everything a married person fears. I ask her if she's seen someone and she says no she isn't. She is taking care of herself and she loves me blah blah. I don't say anything about receiving her texts for 2 months. Over this time she finally admits cheating and that he is so much better than me at passionate time, treating her right and he does what she wants. During this time she pays our debt off, gets tattoos with him, matching, I love tattoos. Goes to shows with him, buying clothes, etc. with the money I'm making. So I decided to get revenge. I put a freeze on the account for a month and change every password on every account to things she won't guess, army jargon and slang terms. I block her on Facebook and my phone so she has no way to contact me. She lost her car to repo a few months later, got kicked out of her place, had to sell her prized shoes and purses just to stay alive. I then find out she got a job at her old restaurant. So I post all the text conversations I have of her and the guy talking about having babies that have timestamps on it, as well as post conversations we had with the matching timestamps showing all of our friends what she has done. I then have friends call and complain at her job constantly on both of them. They both work at the same restaurant. Also, I have friends that dine and dash, and they both got fired. She tried to call my command and tell them that I'm abandoning her and she can't provide for herself. My commander knows what's going on, so he does nothing because he had something similar happen. Then, about a month before I come back, she calls me from another number to tell me she is pregnant with this kid. Mind you, I'm still gone, so we cannot get divorced. She moved away with him, 10 hours from me. She then calls me 5 months pregnant, crying uncontrollably, asking me where she should go. Apparently, they have a giant blow-up fight where she tells him she is leaving. She says she doesn't know where to go and I simply say, sorry, not my problem. We got divorced before the kid was born, so I have no responsibility to her. Fast forward to the beginning of this year. She calls me from a mutual friend's phone. This is how that conversation went. She says, "He hit me. I don't know what to do." I reply, "Maybe you don't cheat on your husband when he is deployed for some guy who talks a big game." And she says, "Well, I guess you're happy about this." And I say, "No, but I am glad I know I'm not the bad guy in this story." I wasn't celebrating that she was physically abused. I did tell her to call the cops, but that's all I did. It's not right to abuse someone, but I also have no responsibility to watch out for her well-being. And then the next month, she says, "He is cheating on me with 2 girls. I am sorry. I regret everything I did. I effed it all up." And I go, "Yeah, you did." All in all, this woman destroyed my life, put me into a deep depression that I'm still dealing with. But I do feel a little better having proof that I wasn't the problem. To think if this had happened even 10 or 5 years ago, I would have come back to an empty bank account, an empty house, as well as seeing my then wife pregnant with another man's baby. She actually hit me up yesterday to ask for some money to help cover rent. Ah man, poor OP, that's gotta suck. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not the only guy in the military that has been deployed that goes through this kind of situation. However, he had the spine to get out of it, and he even got a little payback from it. Not that he ruined her life on purpose, he was just covering his butt, saving his bank account and, keeping his home and all that stuff. And everything else is on her. I do agree with OP that it's not cool that she got hit by the partner, but, it's not OP's responsibility anymore. She should call the cops on that. What do you guys think? Do you think OP overreacted or did exactly what he had to do? Let me know in the comment section. Alright, let's move on to the next post. This one is from user NormalBat8. I would say our family isn't Richie rich, but we are well off. We just aren't materialistic people. We never shop for the sake of shopping. We don't act like rich people. We always fly economy. Only our parents have luxury cars. We don't buy designer clothes, shoes, or bags, except for maybe some items for work because the environment demands it. But we don't go on shopping sprees. Our parents really struggled in their beginning as they are immigrants. So they would be going to school while raising 4 kids and things were tough. So we were always naturally frugal, but our parents splurged on important things for us and on life experiences, not on buying material possessions. But they did emphasize to us to never be cheap when it comes to presents or paying the bill. My older brother lives in LA, and he was dating this girl for a long time. She has a BA, makes about $40,000 to $50,000 a year. We thought she was very nice and very sweet, but some of the things she said felt odd. Once she came home with our brother, saw our parents' cars out front, an Audi and a Jag. My brother told her that our parents only ever had used cars that were a little run down, and soaked in crackers, spilled juice, soccer sweat from practice, etc. So when our youngest sibling finished high school, our parents decided to treat themselves for once in their entire lives and bought new cars, after working 80-hour weeks and grinding for most of their lives. She laughed and said, "It better not take you more than a few years to buy me one of those." My brother drives a relatively new Jeep. My brother decided to propose and had me help pick it out. We decided to get her one with a middle stone that was 2.5 carats, with a baguette on each side that was about 1 carat each. Brother proposed, she said yes, but she was upset, saying she expected a bigger ring since he makes enough to buy her a 5-carat ring, and that she can't handle him acting cheap all the time. He was really upset about this because this ring cost about $40,000 and was amazing clarity, color, etc. And he researched it excessively and made sure that it was the exact design ring she wanted. He called me and got mad at me because I was the one who said he should get the main stone to be 2.5 carats because bigger than that looks a little tacky and showy. I told him that this is probably God waving a red flag and giving him a chance to get out. I told him that someone who can't appreciate that $40,000 is a lot to spend on a ring, especially since that's how much she makes in a year, is a red flag. She didn't care about how hard he tried to please her, just about the money. He thought it over and agreed and broke it off. She called me after he asked her to move out and told me I was a meddling bee and my brother will never get married when his family is so nosy. I have to say regarding the ring that our parents told him to make sure he picked something special because his wife will be the mother of his children, a sister to his siblings, their new daughter, and his partner in life. So he kind of wanted this to be a family heirloom to be passed on to a future child as well. But the way she acted, I think, was too focused on making sure that his future partner was happy that he missed all those red flags. He did get the ring back though. I know people think she's a huge gold digger and we should have seen it earlier, but my brother met her while he was at Stanford at a party and she's from UC Berkeley. So we all figured someone who goes to a fancy school like that would rather focus on their own goals than leech off someone else. I guess we were wrong. Wow, in my opinion, that guy got saved by his sister. He should run away from that. She definitely was some kind of gold digger or some sort of pretentious person. Getting upset because the ring wasn't 5 carats and only 2.5, it was a $40,000 ring. $40,000 is a down payment on a house. Honestly, if I was the brother, I'd take OP out to dinner to thank her for getting me out of that relationship. What do you guys think? You think that was a red flag? Do you think $40,000 is, a decent amount of money to spend on an engagement ring? I don't think so, but, I might be super wrong. I don't know. And do you think OP saved her brother from making a huge mistake, or that she should have just stayed out of it? Alright, well, now let's move on to the third and final post of the video. This one's from user Recaser. So we've been together about 7 months. We've had plenty of issues, but always managed to work through them and come out the other side a bit stronger. But something I found tonight just churned my stomach and it affected me so much I ended our relationship. Some backstory for context. About 2 weeks ago, we had a minor argument. It started in the morning, we paused the conversation for the day while we went to work, then talked about it that night. We both got kinda heated but eventually agreed that we were arguing about something ridiculous and reached a compromise, and everything seemed fine. Fast forward to tonight. We're lying in bed and I realize I never accepted her Facebook friend request. I literally never use Facebook, so this wasn't a point of contention or anything. But we weren't doing anything else, so I decided to accept the request and check out her Facebook. She was right next to me the whole time. What I found really upset me. Multiple shared posts that were obviously in reference to our relationship. They were just pictures of text she had shared, not actually written herself. The first one I found was this. Hey, here's a cool concept. Treat the people that are important to you like they are important to you. I think, is this about me? I feel like I make her feel important all the time. I drive 30 minutes to her house every single day. She had a birthday and I did all the things that you would expect. Multiple presents, dinner, I offered a movie and drinks, but she felt sick so we didn't go. I often buy her things just cause. I offer her lunch nearly every day to show I'm thinking of her. Okay, maybe I'm overreacting on that one, I think. That post could be about anything or anyone, so I keep scrolling. I see another one. If you push me away, I promise you, you won't find me where you left me. This one obviously sounds like she's talking about our relationship, and I was a bit upset at seeing it, especially considering I never felt like I was pushing her away. I spend literally every free moment I have with her. She got upset that I wanted some alone time. She says she doesn't desire it and doesn't understand why I need it, so I pretty much did away with my private time to spend more time with her. We are constantly doing things together and make plans to do things and go places. I never felt like I was pushing her away. If anything, I felt like I spent most of my free time trying to think of things we could do together. I keep scrolling and I found the one that hurt me the most. Don't be mad when someone else starts to appreciate the person you took for granted. What you won't do, someone else will. That one absolutely killed me. I never thought I was taking her for granted, and the thought of her not feeling appreciated kind of floored me. On top of that, The implication is that she wants to find someone else who apparently appreciates her more than I do. I confronted her about these posts. She said they don't mean anything, that she didn't even think about it, and that it took less than a second to hit the share button, so it's not a big deal. The conversation went like this. I, scrolling through her feed for the first time, say, why do you post stuff like this? There's a lot of them. This was more just general dislike at posting such childish things. She replies, why? Do you not like that I do that? And I go, I mean, it kind of feels like you're just announcing our relationship issues to everyone. And she goes, but those posts could mean anything. They could be about anyone. And I say, I just have a feeling that if I went through our texts and found the days and times we were arguing, they would line up with these posts. And she goes, yeah, maybe some of them. We left it at that for about 10 minutes, and then I decided to actually check those times and dates. They all lined up. I went through the first 4 shared quote thingies, and they all matched with times we were arguing about something. I stopped at 4 because the pattern was clear. That last one, the one that hurt me so much, was shared by her during the day after we had the minor argument and before we had talked it out that night. I then confronted her and she confirmed she posted them during arguments. I may have jumped to a conclusion, but in my opinion, it wasn't a very far leap, and she confirmed that I was right. It just felt so terrible, like we have a very minor disagreement about something and you're thinking about finding someone else? That's what it seems like to me. Am I out of my mind for thinking that? She made me feel like I was. She said I was overreacting, that she felt that way in the moment but not now. But I can't stop myself from thinking, if you feel this way after a minor argument, how must you feel after a serious one? Then there is the whole issue of airing out our dirty laundry to anyone that happens to be friends with her on Facebook. Anyone with a brain knows what those posts are about. By sharing them, you are essentially announcing to the world, I'm having relationship problems. I can't help but think about the things her family and mutual friends must think about our relationship, considering how often she is sharing things like that. They were all posted within this past month. To an outsider, I must seem like a freaking butthole. Not treating her right, not respecting her, not making her feel important. I just felt disgusted. I felt like I was going to vomit. I just kept seeing the words, what you won't do, someone else will. I know she didn't write them, but she thought them. She agreed with them. She broadcast them to the world. I told her I knew myself enough, I know I wouldn't forget it. That anytime we had any minor argument, I would be thinking, guess she's gonna go find someone who respects her more than I do. I don't think I could deal with it, knowing that anytime we fight, she is having these feelings. Instead of wanting to work it out, she's thinking about finding a new partner. I broke up with her within an hour of seeing the posts. It was ugly. I feel bad. I feel tired. I've had no sleep and I have to work in like 3 hours. I don't even know why I'm posting this. The relationship is over. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I was justified. I just know it felt right. Well, this is a tough one to give an opinion on, so let's go by parts. First, the argument that it could be about anybody, I think is right. It could be about your parents, it could be about your friends, but it is definitely about a relationship. You don't share stuff like that on Facebook just because it sounds pretty, unless you're one of those people who are constantly posting stuff on Facebook and just clicking share almost everything. Which is totally fine, of course, but some people might feel eluded. Now, I kind of feel a little bit that OP is or was kind of looking for a way out of a relationship that, from his own words in the beginning, he kept having fights and arguments for a 7-month relationship. So it could be that OP was reading something into her sharing these posts so that he could gaslight her and get out of the relationship. However, the fact that these passive-aggressive relationshipy posts were shared on Facebook around the same time that they were having these arguments or spats or whatever you want to call them is a little bit suspicious, in the sense that she says it could be about anybody. Well, then why are you posting that exactly at the same time that you and I are having an argument? That's the dodgy part. But I do feel it's kind of like in the middle. I do think that the posts are related to their spats, and I also think that OP was kind of looking for something to get out of that relationship. What do you guys think about this reaction and, the overall situation? I'd love to get your comments on it. And well, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it, this Just Know format that I'm going to start putting out. And if you did, go ahead and click like. If you have any comments, just write them down in the comments. If you have any recommendations, don't forget to go to Reddit and join the community. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And having said all that, I'll see you guys on the next video.